This is the content for my presentation today. I'm going to explain about travel service and development organization. After that, I'll explain some of the travel QA improvement stories. Okay, let me introduce about myself. Okay, this number is good enough to introduce myself because I'm working travel service for 50 years. This is my history of my jobs biography. I joined the travel services from 15 years ago. It's really amazing working stories of my life. Actually, I started from engineer and I developed many applications. But now I'm looking after QA for last 2 years. My life has been dramatically changed nearly every day. So the service mindset and company mindset were never changed from beginning. As you can see, I reported the bug information from top of Mount Fuji. So we can tackling with any issues everywhere and every time. Yes. So my mindset is 24/7. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to introduce about travel service briefly. Okay. This is the first release of mytrip.net that was in 1996, about 20 years ago. That site was born in Osaka Prefecture. The mytrip.net service was started with only 2 PCs and 128 kbps. So we faxed manually, and the operation system was Windows 3.1. In 2003, mytrip.net company was acquired by Rakuten. So I was transferred from Osaka to Tokyo Prefecture. And so the sales was dramatically improved year by year. Okay, basically Rakuten Travel Services consists of 3 components. As you can see, matching, inventory, and web traffic. And we are aiming to be #1 online travel agency company in the world. So in addition, we just released PATU last month. PATU stands for Pamphlet Around the World. This is a travel brochure application which is for tourists all around the world. Please download and check it out after my presentation. And we have one booth on 4th floor, so please check it. Okay. Okay. Next is about travel development organization. I'd like to explain about development organization. The travel is consists of 3 sections, which are development for SDD, product management for PDM, and quality assurance for QA. Each section has a large number of members, and also we have another members in offshore companies such as India and China and the USA. This is the image. Okay, as you can see, we are targeting to increase more than 5 times in 2020. If anyone looking for the job, please feel free to contact me after my presentation. Okay. So this is the current travel development flow. The flow is consists of 10 actions list. Basically, bottom 5 actions are development tasks. I will explain more about the development process later on. This is how many projects we have testing in a year. Yes, we have more than 200 projects in this year, and 100 development projects. And also we are planning to test over 300 projects and 150 development projects in next year. Okay, this is a figure about the number of Kaizen meaning bugs, during the QA at last half year. As you can see, we found a large number of tasks and bugs and Kaizen last year. Actually, for this year, we found more issues than last year. So I'm assuming that our test quality was our services was increased compared to last year. As you can see, our number one is hotel services. Next one is domestic dynamic package. Okay, next is about test coverage. As you can see, the upper side, currently we are mainly covering QA phase. But future test coverage, the test coverage goal will be include IT and QA and release phase. So we are expanding now. Okay, next is explain about the real story of domestic DP, service improvement. DP is a dynamic package, mean hotel and air. Okay, I'm going to use this image to explain real story of domestic dynamic package. The system was very legacy architecture and unreadable programs. So therefore, development team was started to refactoring whole systems from last year. The legacy architecture was integrated to new architecture this year. It was great challenge and a huge trial. However, it produced so many bugs and so many logic dependency problems. And also more than few hundreds batch and business side operations cannot stop any time. Therefore, the refactoring challenge was struggling in the middle of system integration. So our QA team was started to help them from early this year. We created the full regression test cases and execute testing of all functions, include batch and UI, UX, and API, etc. In March, we had completed full regression test. Since then, we are looking after all projects in QA before the application release, even small tickets and the bug fix. So I'd like to explain more about our QA process improvement. Okay, QA process was improved. QA testing for QA process was improved from 6 months ago. Basically, we expand the QA testing for all development tickets, and then we have release planning meeting for every 2 weeks. So a product manager and senior development designer and QA will decide whether we need to test or not. So then release management to take care all release test for production environment. As you can see, there are 5 steps. First is test scope. We list up all development tickets to decide whether we will execute test or not. Second one is test planning. We create the test cases include merge to regression case. This is very important to merge regression test case. Fourth is test execution. We report to our stakeholders every day. The final is release confirmation. We check in production environment after release. So the release sprint is about 3 weeks round every month. This process prevents all critical bugs in production environment now. Okay, new architecture is increasing development agility and easy to manage the logic components. The most of new architecture divides the logic components and wrapping the all requests called by APIs. So it increases test factors by integration. But we can find the bug components more easier than legacy system. So new architecture will increase the development speed and agility. On the other hand, a regression test case will increase release by release. So we started to test automation for all regression cases to minimize the test period. After we started to develop the test automation, we had another issue. Domestic DB is using external system to test in staging environment. So when we run the test automation program, so many issues such as timeouts, non-API response, and test data issues towards occurred. So it disturbed test automation development. Therefore, this improvement story is carry on to staging environment improvements. Okay, next is sustainable QA process management. This is a travel development flow overview. As you can see, at the bottom half is a development flow. Also, one of the unique points of this flow is a sign-off system. All the components need to sign off by a manager or all stakeholders to go next step. So all the related members are knowing what's going on, all project progress. Okay, this is the current development flow. When PDM, product manager, creates a PRD or DCR, which is a project specification and requirement. Then development team created the dev specification. After that, a QA team started to work. This is a kind of a waterfall model, more likely a mix of waterfall and agile development. Therefore, it works for a large to middle development project. But this flow is not cover the bug fix and small integration test. Recently, DevOps is the key solution for agile development operation issue. But according from my QA experience, we need additional flow for covering all development test and release. Therefore, we add several components in this flow. First point is we added development project, dev operational project, and bug fix, and small operation. And second point is we create the test spec at the same time as development team. When we start to manage the regression test case. Third point is I added the release planning and the release management in this flow, which is really important to determine the test scope, and also release management can support production environment. And next is a future vision for our QA process improvement. This is a final model of our process improvements. This is concerning about my mind. When we finish to create all regression case, and automate everything, we can start to add the test automation flow into QA process. Also, automated regression test will be able to run by development team. So sometimes in next year, we will make it happen to improve our QA process. Okay, at the last, I'd like to explain about the meaning of presentation title. We have the responsibility for all bugs after the release in production environment. Therefore, we have two authorities about QA testing and product release. First is QA is not only testing team. We have also right to judge all project whether QA testing is necessary or not. Second, we have all responsibility of all application production bugs. So we have also right to judge and determine whether it can release or not. This is one of the big difference between other internet companies. So let's summarize and wrap up my presentation. These are the main topics of my presentation today. First is about the real story of domestic dynamic package service in travel. It's about legacy to new system. Second one is for improvement QA process. This is one of the biggest process change in QA. Third is starting test automation, minimize the test period. Last one is about future vision of QA flow. We will make it happen next year. Okay, I think the system destruction and the creation will repeat as growing the services. So the internet system architecture will migrate and rapidly change every year. So as I said in the presentation, automation and manual test case management is the key for keeping test agility and coverage. Okay, thank you for listening my presentation. I'm sorry, but it's almost time. So if you have any questions, please feel to contact me or send email. Thank you again.